In last lesson, we covered how Chakira looks at Hashem, and we discovered what the edges of Chakira was. We discussed how Chakira's edges are anything that you can prove. Anything that could be proved intellectually fits into the Chakira box, into the Chakira subject, and therefore we can learn things about Hashem through Chakira, but only things that we can see in the world, anything that's provable from the world. So anything that we can prove about Hashem, that's what we can know about Hashem. In this video, we're going to cover about Kabbala and what's Kabbala's edges. What is Kabbala's handles? How do we understand Kabbala ideas? Kabbala works from a higher tool than intellect. Kabbala works from a tool called Emunah, faith, or Nevuah, prophecy. Kabbala tells us things about Hashem that we cannot necessarily prove, but Kabbala tells us this is the way it is. This is what Hashem has, or this is things that exist. For example, the worlds of Atzilus and Bria, Yetzir, and Asiya, these spiritual worlds. There is no way in Chakira that one can prove that the world of Atzilus exists, because no one has seen it. No one can physically see it or hear it or touch it. And so therefore, because it cannot be proved from an intellectual perspective that it exists, therefore, we can argue and say that Chakira can never see or can never know about Hashem in such a way, can know about Hashem from spirituality. There's no way that it could happen. Kabbala, on the other hand, believes that it can, because Kabbala comes from Emunah and from Nevuah, from prophecy and from faith. And Kabbala, which is a part of Torah, tells us different things about godliness and the different spiritual worlds that exist and the different spiritual tools. Now, Kabbala essentially teaches us two things. And the whole Kabbala is pretty much based on these two ideas. One thing, it's two opposite ends of a coin. One side of the coin is Ein Sof. Ein Sof means unlimited. Kabbala explains to us that godliness is something that's unlimited and that there's Ein Sof spheres. There's unlimited amount of faculties. We know that every person has 10 spheres, has 10 different tools that, 10 different tools that they have from their soul. The world is made up of 10 different attributes. There's 3 intellectual and 7 emotional, which we'll get into in other lessons. But Kabbala explains to us that spiritually, there is unlimited amount of faculties and tools. The other side of this coin is Kabbala teaches us that from those unlimited, Hashem picked 10 of them, only 10, and he created the world with them. And so therefore, we can only know 10 of those unlimited tools. That's the only ones we know. But theoretically, or not theoretically, actually, on the spiritual plane, there are much more tools and faculties that exist. And actually an unlimited number of tools and faculties exist. Now, this is something, obviously, that from Chakira perspective, there is no way to prove. But because Kabbala works from a different plane, from a deeper plane, a higher plane than intellect, from Emunah and Nevuah, from faith and prophecy, this is why Kabbala can understand more about Hashem. This is why Kabbala could get more detailed and explain to us things that Chakira can't. It can explain to us about godliness. And essentially, Kabbala is teaching us all about how Hashem created this world from this unlimited amount of tools and picked these 10 and created them. And that's essentially what most of Kabbala is about. In the next video, we are going to cover what Chassidus is coming from, which perspective Chassidus is coming from, and what Chassidus essentially is teaching us, and what is its edges.